Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Coffee Works Podcast, episode 2012.
2012, yeah.
2012, that's more or less accurate.
Yeah, the year 2012 is what year?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm Jeigh.
Yeah, I'm still Adrian.
Okay, cool.
We're back for another week of comic book, TV, music, podcasts, board games, and alcohol.
And a little sports.
And we got some
I'll
sports.
talk some sports.
I'm happy to talk sports. Happy to talk sports.
And we've been gone a couple weeks. Apparently, I've forgot how to say numbers in that time.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. I did put a thing up on our Facebook and our Twitter. I apparently had pneumonia for a couple weeks. Found that out like 2 weeks into it. But I'm good now. I'm back. I'm ready to drink for the first time in a long time.
And for those of you who have been with us for a little while, this time last year, I was hospitalized
With pneumonia.
Yeah. So it's just making the rounds.
Yeah. It's the April Fool's joke. Yeah.
Your lungs are playing the greatest joke on you ever. Ha ha.
Just kidding. You can't really breathe today.
So we are drinking today Plantation 5-year barrel-aged dark rum. Now, I generally get the Barbados one, which is just out of sugarcane.
Yeah.
This one I got because the guy at the liquor store convinced me too. It's sweetened because it's distilled with pineapples.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Right?
Now, is this our normal liquor store that you got this from?
No.
Okay.
I
was going to say that the last time that you got a recommendation from them, it ended up horrible.
That was a horrible, horrible recommendation. No. So I actually went to the liquor store. It's called Proper and Erdis in Woodinville, over by Leviathan Games and Comics.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about that place.
Yeah. So even when you open it and just smell it, and I was gonna buy my usual one. He goes, "Well, why don't you try this one?" I'm like, it's a little bit steep. It was $15 more. And he's like, "Well, and he just opened the bottle, poured out a drink for me.
Jeez.
And I'm all like, "Oh, that's delightful." He's like, "Yeah, well, let me get you a new bottle."
Oh, wow. He didn't even make you buy the open bottle.
Did not buy the tester bottle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good customer service.
Right? So I went for it. I also got a growler of a Lagunitas beer that's brewed with brown sugar.
I think you were telling me about this. No. One of my coworkers was telling me about this because he didn't realize there was a Lagunitas brewery and tap room in Seattle now.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's over in Ballard.
Yeah.
They have like 4 in the country, and one of them just happens to be in Ballard.
It was fine. It was too sweet for me. It was a sweet brown ale, but too sweet.
Okay.
Lighter than most brown ales, but not dark enough to be something else, but too sweet.
Okay.
So let me know what you think about this.
Have we done much rum on the show? I don't remember. Did we do a rum month?
We did a rum.
Okay.
But we did like Bacardi and Coke, and we did mixed drinks. We didn't do just straight.
Oh, that's delicious.
Isn't that good?
It's very good. I'm all about that now.
Yeah, so they call it the Stiggins Fancy 1824 recipe.
Okay.
I think this stuff is delightful.
No, it is good. I like the packaging on there too. It's definitely goes with the aged theme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Real quick, moving on from this, unless you have more to say about this.
No.
Because I'm going to keep enjoying this. Going back into a little bit of beer talk.
Beer talk.
You're familiar with Reuben's Brews?
I've heard of these, yes.
I think we may have had one or two on the show. I don't remember because we've been doing this for like 3 years now.
It's been ridiculous. A bit, dude. It's been a day.
And you're familiar with Rainier Brewery, obviously.
Yes.
They're doing a collaboration beer.
Really?
In fact, they have done the collaboration beer. Kyle Stevens tried it and said it wasn't so bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe we'll try to find that for next week.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that. I don't know. I couldn't. So he posted a picture on Instagram.
Okay.
I couldn't tell where he was at, where he was enjoying it. But he put it up there. He did, and then Rubens actually replied and said, "Hey, thanks for the."
Well, sure. Like he's got followers.
Yeah. Right.
I'll send him a message after this. He's in Calgary.
Right.
So I'll send him a message about it and ask him where he got it.
Oh, I wonder if he got it somewhere. No, because Rubens is local to here.
I believe Rubens is local
Yeah.
to here.
Okay.
But he didn't leave till this morning
Okay,
or
so
last night.
This was like yesterday afternoon, I think, that I saw the picture. So
I wonder if that was like in the airport.
may have been.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh, the plot thickens.
I may be going to the airport in a couple weeks. So
I'm also going in a couple weeks.
All right.
All right. We're going to find it there. So what have you got on your list? You've been having pneumonia. I can't imagine you're out exercising. So you're probably watching TV. See?
I watched an ungodly amount of TV.
There you go.
Somehow, even with, and you know I don't sleep much.
Correct.
I was sleeping like 8 hours a day, which is big for me.
That's high for you, yeah.
So somehow I still found time to watch TV. So since I went and I looked at my tracked history. Since the last time we recorded, which was 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
We missed two.
We skipped two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to read through all this. Usually I just say the normal things. So I'm going to read through all this. Finished season 6 of Homeland, so I'm fully caught up on Homeland.
Okay.
Bob's Burgers. I just have not watched the 2 episodes that aired this last Sunday.
were both so good.
Yeah, my Kodi remote was dead. I
Okay.
forgot to throw it on the charger, so I've actually been using real like Hulu and Amazon Prime. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right, so Riverdale, Big Bang Theory, Powerless. I have not watched last week's episode of Powerless. I'm gonna come back to Powerless at the end of this.
Sure.
'Cause, I heard some things. Legends of Tomorrow, which has finished its season, got fully caught up on Nashville. There's
Okay.
one episode left of this season, which they don't have an air date scheduled for yet. But it,
wait, what?
and here's why. My thinking is, they just announced, I think last week, that it got renewed for another season.
Okay.
So I think they were waiting to do the season finale to know whether they were actually going to come back for another
Whether they had to end
Which
the
is-
show or change it.
Which is smart,
Yep.
because this was the first season after it moved from ABC to CMT. So CMT had to figure out if they were going to keep going or not. Superstore, we're 2 episodes behind on Superstore, but we're 3 episodes behind now because there was one last week. So the last episode we watched was Mateo's last day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep, so that's where we're at. Watched the girls' series finale.
Series finale.
It's done, thank God.
Yeah, I heard that episode was not well
Oh, it's
received.
fucking horrible.
Okay.
Like this whole last season was pretty terrible, but that last one especially. Still watching Outsiders. Community season 5.
Oh, that's one of the last good seasons.
That is the last good season, isn't it?
Is 6 or 7 where they go to Yahoo?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I think it's 6.
You'll know right away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And plus, because Paget Brewster's in it.
Oh, so she was okay. Cool. Entourage season 5.
Okay.
And then I got halfway through Sopranos season 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty Little Liars, the second half of season 7, which is the last season.
I thought you were
is on
totally caught up with all that.
It's just coming on
just
now.
coming back?
Yeah,
Oh,
so it
okay,
just came
okay.
back last week. The mid-season premiere of Gotham. I watched all of You, Me, and the Apocalypse, which was only 10 episodes.
That was a really fun show, though.
So one of my favorite things about that show was that the opening sequence changed every episode. I don't know if you're aware of that.
So the opening sequence when they're in the bunker
Yeah.
and they're focusing on different people in the bunker. Yeah.
So as you learn more about what's going on in the story and how everybody's connected, you actually see more things that are happening in the bunker. Yeah. So that was really interesting. And then I watched IKEA Heights.
The Maya Rudolph one?
No.
Okay. Am I
This was-
thinking of something else?
I think you are. Are you familiar with Channel 101?
No.
Okay. Channel 101 was kind of like Funny or Die.
Okay.
It was all like original content made for web, short, funny videos, things like that. So IKEA Heights was done in, I think, like 05, 06, something like that. But it is it's mocking like soap operas. So a mock soap opera or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know what the word is for it. But
Mock opera.
Yeah, but it takes 100% within IKEA store in Studio City or something like that.
Okay.
But the IKEA employees don't know they're doing it. So it's like legitimately like there's regular shoppers in the store shopping around and they're acting out this soap opera within the store.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they use like, they've got the little demo apart, or like, here's what you could do with 350 square
Right.
feet. That's somebody's house. So they're like, the first episode opens up and it's a husband and wife in bed, and then there's like a murder that happens, and you find out there's like mob activity inside the IKEA like heights. It's really funny. 7 parts, like 5 minutes each. There's a couple people who I recognize on there who have been in other things but no like real big names. But it's all on YouTube. That's where I watched it.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
It's hilarious.
That sounds funny.
In the 6th episode, I think one of the IKEA employees actually catches on to the fact that they're filming because they've got a big camera.
Yeah, how do you not catch on to that?
They got around it for quite a while. So they get like kicked out for filming in the store because they don't have a permit. But then they sneak back in and they finish the episode. So, and that's all that I watched. The reason I wanted to come back to Powerless is it's normally on Thursday nights. It's not in tomorrow night's lineup.
Okay.
They're actually airing an episode of I think Superstore in its place. So the rumor is that it's not in the lineup because it's getting canceled because the ratings have been terrible.
It's such a good show,
It is
though.
a great show.
Such a good show. Okay.
So that may be on its way out.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our favorite shows to watch.
It's one of my favorite shows to watch. I have not. Jessica will watch it and she'll be like she'll be doing something. It'll be on. She'll be like, what the fuck are you watching? I'm like, it's this show set in DC universe, but not
great.
about DC characters.
Green Fury, the Olympian.
Right. It's good times. So.
Okay.
And I watched a whole hell of a lot of Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Yes.
But that'll be more in the sports.
Yeah.
section.
So we both have a lot of baseball and for me basketball stuff.
Okay.
So I watched my usuals, which for those of you who are not familiar, it's Fresh Off the Boat. It is Superstore, Powerless, Last Man on Earth, Bob's Burgers, which these last 2 episodes have both been great.
Okay.
So one of them, because they aired 2 on Sunday night.
Right, which was super weird, but
They do that every now and then.
Okay.
The first one that they aired was, it was a mansion that you got an invitation to go to the mansion and LARP.
oh jeez.
So you're LARPing Downton Abbey at this mansion. So everyone gets random roles assigned to them.
Okay.
So Linda got like the handmaiden.
Sure.
So it was really funny. Like I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
The ones I'm going to touch on is my wife is going through The Office again.
Oh.
Again. So here's what's going on with this. I can pretty much quote 95% of that show.
Right.
Often while I'm cooking or while I'm doing other things and she's watching, I'll say something. And every time she's like, what did you say? And then it's on the show. She goes, oh. So apparently her goal is to be able to watch it to the point where I'm at.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever going to be possible.
Because you're gonna always be around, and you're gonna get that last like 5% of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even from last time, but this is now round 2 for her in the past 3 months. I've already gotten a couple more. So I don't think she can ever get there. I just don't have the heart to tell her. But she's listening now.
She is.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay. So you've been observing The Office.
Been doing The Office. Also on Netflix is Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about 7 episodes in.
Okay.
And
So this out of the 4 series, this is the worst received one.
yeah.
Mainly because of the whitewashing, but
Which I don't have a problem with the whitewashing, if that's the problem. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have with this is the exact same problem I had with Daredevil. So all I've watched for the Netflix shows for Marvel is the first season of Daredevil
okay.
and Iron Fist.
Okay.
Because I watched Daredevil and I had this problem. I really enjoyed the first 4 or 5 episodes. I just felt like the season dragged on a lot longer than it should have.
Okay.
Now, Iron Fist came on, all the whitewashing. I like Finn Jones. He's a really nice guy. We're cordial to each other. So I'm like, I'm going to watch his show. It's the same reason I started watching Speechless, because I'm cordial with one of their actors. And I'm enjoying the first 4 or 5 episodes. We're now on 7 or 8, and it's the same thing. I'm like, all right, this is dragging. Come
you
on,
think maybe it should have been either a 6 or 8 episode season instead of a 10 or 13?
I think so.
Whatever. Okay. I know I personally didn't have that problem with Daredevil 1 or 2, but I can definitely see different people.
Yeah,
like things at
absolutely.
different paces. So
So Superstore. I want to touch on Superstore real fast.
okay,
So you haven't watched it this week.
no.
Okay, so in this week, Cheyenne's boyfriend
Who's one of my favorite recurring characters ever.
comes to work at the store for the day.
Okay.
Or that ends up for the day, but he's coming over for great episode. I just wanted to bring it up in case you knew. Are we confirmed for a season 3? Are we not confirmed for season 3?
I feel like I've heard it, but I could just be imagining that.
Because I feel like people talk about Powerless a lot more than they talk about Superstore.
Yeah.
And yet, it's apparently doing much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually just got my mom to start watching Superstore. Because she'd watched, she took my suggestion and watched all of This Is Us.
Okay.
Loved it. And then she's like, well, what else should I watch? I'm like, Superstore.
Yeah, watch Superstore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I've been watching a lot of Raw and SmackDown.
So I realized this earlier. We haven't recorded. Or did we? We recorded since we watched WrestleMania.
Yes.
Did I talk on that about watching Raw and SmackDown that week?
No.
I must have, because I think I watched them after we recorded.
Okay.
So much fucking wrestling. Like, so much.
You have to watch the abridged versions. You have to watch the abridged versions. So,
So my thing with that though is watching the ones right after WrestleMania. How much did you miss? You watched the abridged versions, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So you don't know what happened in the whole episode necessarily.
So what happens, for those of you who are not familiar with Raw, it's a 3-hour-long show.
Which I didn't realize.
Yeah, Raw's 3 hours. So what you get for the abridged is an hour and a half.
Okay.
So they shorten some matches up a little bit, or they cut out the C stories.
Okay.
So stuff like Golden Truth, Goldust and R-Truth and all that's out.
Okay.
So there's only the A and B stories, and they cut out the C and D stuff.
So I figured, though, watching the episodes right after WrestleMania, I'd probably miss out on some stuff if I didn't watch the full.
No.
Well, I don't know.
Because WrestleMania is all just the A and B storylines. They don't even acknowledge the C and D stuff.
So you've been watching, though.
I have been.
How do you feel about the Superstar shakeup? Because I've been watching.
You've been trying to keep up with it.
I've been watching the shows, but I've been I follow them on Instagram now. And
okay.
I read some of the news stories, so I saw all the.
I will throw this advice out there for anybody who is interested in what's going on with wrestling, but doesn't want to dedicate the 3 hours a week. There's another YouTube channel besides ours. We're not. Okay. Let me restart. So YouTube has other stations besides us.
Besides us and Hot Ones, yeah.
Yes. There's a third one. It's called What Culture Wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, they do a show called Up Downs. They'll do an Up Downs Raw and an Up Downs SmackDown.
Okay.
That is a great 10-minute synopsis of everything that happened in that episode of Raw and SmackDown. They do a phenomenal job. The hosts are funny, they're clever, they're knowledgeable, and it's a really good synopsis.
Is it the British guys?
Yes. So
Because I know most of What Culture is British.
They're all from the UK, correct?
Okay.
So that's a really good place to go if you just want quick information. I actually have not been. Frugal Bruno and I were talking about this afternoon, about how disappointed these past 2 weeks of Raw and SmackDown have been. So yeah, not been pleased necessarily with it.
And do you think that's directly correlated to the switch up, or do you think it's just
Nope. It happens every year after WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is such this.
the culmination of all the storylines?
It is. It's the culmination. So you have this lull where a lot of people kind of take a break, as it were, and things kind of die down and they start building up. So it's almost like the month of April is a break for wrestlers, where they're just like, we're going to call this an off month.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's what happens. Goes around.
All right, cool.
Otherwise, I actually haven't watched that much TV. But I did read a shit ton of comics. I won't get into all of them.
Okay.
But just so you guys understand, since we last recorded, I've read a trade paperback every day.
Oh.
On top of my weekly comics.
Wow.
Yeah. On top of my weekly comics.
Okay, and I thought I was crazy for reading 22 comics today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trade paperback every night. So I'm only 2 away from being 100% caught up on Invincible.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, but I've read a lot of other just.
I'm actually like 6 regular issues behind on it.
Yeah.
so
So
I need to take
there you
care
go.
of that.
There you go. So for TV, that's it for me. That's it for you. Did you watch any movies?
I didn't. Like,
Okay.
surprisingly, being laid
that's
up
weird.
that long, no movies. And I think it's because I was moving so quickly through
TV.
seasons of TV that I just never flipped onto the movie page.
So Jess and I watched 3.
Okay.
We watched the remake of Poltergeist.
Okay.
We watched Ms. Pettigrew's Home for Peculiar Children.
Sure.
And Keeping Up with the Joneses.
That's one that I wanted to see, but maybe I won't after you tell me.
So Zach Galifianakis, Isla Fisher, Gal Gadot, and John Hamm.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
But it's worth a watch.
It was.
Okay.
It was. So you see the trailer. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's this couple that's been around and they have kids. They're stodgy. There's no romance left in their life. And these sexy new neighbors move in and they turn to be secret spies.
Right.
And they just want their lives to be like them. And they get caught up in it. And you know everything that's going to happen.
Well, sure.
From the trailer. And you knew the storyline. But the comedy portion and some of the things that happen is actually kind of original enough where you're like, oh, that was funny.
And I can imagine, Zach Galifianakis especially. And I think Isla Fisher is also an underrated comedic actress.
Galifianakis was probably my least favorite part.
Really?
John Hamm killed it.
Okay.
Isla Fisher killed it. Gal Gadot was fine.
Well,
And Galifianakis was fine.
Okay.
But yeah, Hamm and Fisher really did well for this.
Interesting. Okay.
Did really well for this. So even though you know the story, what's going to happen, some of the lines were funny. They introduced some new things that I don't want to spoil it for you because you're just like, oh shit, that's
Okay.
pretty funny.
I will watch it. I think it's actually on my tracked movies watch list.
Okay.
There's like 50 things on there now.
The remake of Poltergeist I saw in the theater, and I may have actually mentioned it on air.
I'm pretty sure you did.
So go back and see episode 73.
More or less.
It sounds like it's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
in
yeah.
the 70s.
Yeah.
Regardless, the remake of Poltergeist was exactly what you expected. It was a
Okay.
decent horror movie for current horror movie standards.
Okay.
Miss Pettigrew's Home for Peculiar Children was good. Like, all 3 of the movies, none of them, it's all the same thing. I got them from Netflix. I burned them to my hard drive. I watched them, and I'm like, okay, totally happy. I'm going to delete them from my hard drive now, and I don't feel the need to ever go buy the Blu-ray.
Okay.
It's just what it is, but I'm glad I watched all 3.
Sure.
Podcasts?
I listened to a podcast since last time we recorded.
Okay, good. What did you listen to?
I listened to S-Town.
Okay, that's good. I want to talk. Have you finished S-Town?
Yeah, no, I finished.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what
it
did
took me
you
like 3 days.
tell the folks what S-Town is?
S-Town, short for Shit Town, is a podcast produced by This American Life and the makers of Serial, which I think is General Mills, last I checked.
That is General Mills and Kellogg.
Yeah. So it's a reporter that works for This American Life. He started getting emails from this guy who lived in this town in Alabama. I struggle to remember.
John Blee McLemore lives in Shittown, Alabama.
But I struggle to remember what the actual name of the town in Alabama was.
Bibb County. Bibb County, and there's a town. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So he writes him saying that there's all this stuff going on in his town that he doesn't think is completely above board, and he wants somebody to investigate it. Things that include a child of a wealthy family in the town murdering another kid, and the police just kind of looking the other way, nobody talking about it. Right.
So the reporter kind of starts corresponding back and forth with John B., and it turns into a bunch of telephone conversations, and you're getting this account of the relationship from the reporter, and it talks about he talks a lot about how John B. would just call him and talk for hours and hours and hours about all these things, and how he was actually this really intelligent person,
Incredibly intelligent.
but he just kind of lived in this backwoods town. So,
Well, yes, but he definitely earns the label of eccentric. Because
absolutely.
you get to the point of sheer intelligence, like no doubt about it. Very intelligent, but not wise.
Right.
So what happens is he's going on about, global warming and how horrible it is. And sure, he's not wrong, but his approach and everything about it is just so abrasive.
Yeah.
And his resolutions are so unwise that he makes most people now are standoffish about him.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so throughout the progression of the 7 episodes, 8 episodes,
7 episodes,
the reporter actually goes down to Bibb County and meets with John and starts investigating some of the stuff and finds out that John's account of things isn't necessarily 100% accurate, but starts finding out a lot about John himself and some of the people that John hangs out with, like Tyler and Tyler's brother and things like this. And you're right. Definitely after episode 2, it takes a weird twist.
So the whole point was he went to go investigate this murder. At the end of episode 2, we find out the murder never happened. Never happened.
Right.
It was all a misunderstanding. And now it's all just focused on John's life.
Right.
Because
it becomes an introspective on John.
Right. Because we find out he's died.
Yes.
And now it's all unraveling his life and everything he had hidden away and everything he lied about and everything, not lied about like to the reporter, but just in his life in general, all the truth. Everyone had all these crazy notions and just finding out the truth of everything.
Right.
So you enjoyed it?
I did. I kind of felt let down by the way it ended, in that I don't feel like it really ended.
I feel that same way about Serial. I think Serial does the exact same way. And my reason for that, I think, is both reporters, Sarah and Brian, I want to say his name is.
That sounds accurate.
They get attached to these people but want to give neutral stories, but you can tell that they're not actually neutral.
Yeah.
Sarah does not tell a neutral story about Adnan. It very much seems she's on his side.
Absolutely.
And Brian very much doesn't tell this neutral story about John B. because he cries and he mourns his loss and he goes to the funeral.
Yeah.
And so I think they're trying to maybe distance themselves about it when it comes to the end.
So, I mean, my thing is, after John B. dies, there's this kind of, I don't know what the right word is, opposing side set up between Tyler, the guy that he was kind of mentoring, and the cousins who come in and are
the executors of the will.
Yeah, they're executors, they're next of kin or whatever. So it sets up this who's right and wrong in the situation, who deserves access to this, that, or the other thing. And then I feel like in the end, there's not really a resolution. And
I wonder if that's because in real life there wasn't one.
And it might be, but
so
I don't know. Like it feels like he was telling the story and then he ran out of story to tell. So it's just like, and that's all we have. Well,
that's what. So it actually took him almost 2.5 years to put that all together, which I have a feeling is going to be the same thing that happens with Serial season 2. It got put together so quickly it wasn't as good. So if we do,
I never even finished the series.
So if we do a season 2 of S-Town, it's not going to be as good.
No, not at all.
I would say listen to S-Town though. I like how we find out, he was homosexual, and he had crushes on these guys who were heterosexual. And they would find girlfriends, and he would then threaten suicide unless he came to be like all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then we find out that more likely than not, it very well could have been mercury poisoning that led to the degradation of his brain and everything.
So one of the things that he did was he repaired old clocks, and there was a thing called
fire glazing.
Fire glazing, where they gilded bronze.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and the way that they did that was by soaking it in mercury, which, for those of you that don't know, mercury real dangerous for you.
Yep.
If you ever have like a mercury thermometer and it breaks, just fucking walk away.
Just burn your house down. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, no, it's done. So they interview a guy who talks about the effects of mercury poisoning and some of the symptoms or the signs that people give off when they've experienced mercury poisoning, and a lot of it lines up with things that John B. was exhibiting in his own life. So.
And experiencing, like, in his health and the degradation of his health as well. But not only was he around mercury, he would light it on fire and ingest the fumes, working with it for hours, and he did this for decades.
Yeah, that was this fire glazing process, is that you were lighting the mercury on fire, and people didn't do it anymore because of how dangerous it was.
Yeah, it's actually against the law.
Yeah.
It is against the law.
But he would do it in the sake of restoring these old clocks.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
But no, very interesting. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, I was a little let down by the ending, but maybe that's just all they could do.
That's kind of the way I felt about it.
7 episodes. I think they were an hour to an hour and a half each, so
Yeah.
not hard to get through it all.
Not at all. The other 2 podcasts I've been listening to, one is called Myths and Legends.
Okay.
Really been enjoying Myths and Legends. Essentially, it's a podcaster he has a master's in English, so he's just telling you all these old myths and legends, and just the way he goes about it, it's really fun. I really enjoy it because everyone knows the Greek legends and everybody knows all these Japanese ones and everything else. But he goes down and really breaks it down for you. He does spend an hour on them. Some of them, like he did one of the King Arthur ones, which was 6 hours.
Wow.
But he breaks it up, into episode A, episode B, episode C. It's just really fun, really enjoyable.
Okay.
The other podcast I've been listening to I listened to 3 episodes and I'm done.
Okay.
It's called Upfront.
Never heard of it.
The reason I want to bring up Upfront is because we talked about S-Town.
Yeah.
It's all under the same NPR public news umbrella.
Okay.
So most people don't realize that NPR, so Serial, S-Town, This American Life is part of a larger NPX conglomerate.
Right.
Who handles most of your NPR news, which is not independent. It's not small. It's not local. It's part of a huge conglomerate.
Absolutely.
So Upfront is their NPR 10 minutes every day. Just here's the headlines and what's going on.
Okay.
And it is the most biased garbage news I've ever heard.
So, I mean, NPR tends to be very one-sided.
Yes. And
So
it is really, really one-sided. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna, if you're good with that, I'm gonna jump into some sports right now.
Let's do sports.
So I'm gonna start with baseball because that's what I've been watching. It is baseball season, and this year I have actually taken the dive. I'm good for more. I've taken the dive and I've subscribed to MLB at Bat this year.
Okay, now did you go audio only or video
Nope,
as well?
I'm video.
Ooh!
But here's where I got off. I was on the Milwaukee Brewers subreddit because I am a Milwaukee Brewers fan, and I was asking somebody because I wasn't sure how this worked. If I'm subscribing to they do 2 different tiers. You can do
3 tiers.
Well, 3 tiers if you can consider the audio only.
Okay.
But for video they have 2.
Yes.
They have the all out everything MLB package, or they have the single team package.
Correct.
So I was looking at subscribing to the single team package, which in itself is $80 a month, or $80 for the season.
$80 for the season, correct.
I was asking, I'm in Seattle. If I subscribe to the Brewers single team package, am I going to be affected differently? Like, how many games am I going to be able to see? How many are there going to be blackout, whatever?
You only get blackout games when they're playing Seattle.
Right, which is what somebody came back and answered.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody sends me a private message that, hey, we do a buy-in license every year where we split the cost among like 4 people. We have an open slot, and this is for the full.
Oh.
So it'd be $25. Do you want to buy in on a portion of it, and we'll just send you the login? And I'm like, where do I send you money at?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm paying $25 for part of this license, which there's no cap on how many like devices can be watching at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 4 of us sharing it. So now I have access to all of the MLB games for $25 for the season.
That's great.
Yeah. So I installed the app on my.
What if I give you $25 and then you just give me the information for mine?
I can check to see if they want another guy, and I don't think it would matter, right?
No, you actually can't see who's logged into what.
That's true. Yeah, I'll just give you the login.
Nah,
I don't care. So I've been watching a lot of Brewers games. I installed the app on my Xbox One.
It's a great app.
It's great.
So not only is their video app amazing, their audio app is amazing, their cell phone,
Which I installed the app on my phone.
Sure, the bad app.
So I'm going to try that with some of the games that are earlier in the day that I can't watch.
It is light years ahead. So I have the Major League audio package.
Okay.
And I had the NBA video package. In the NBA video package, I demanded my money back.
Oh,
I
that
had
bad?
such a bad experience. And that was last year. I tried it again this year, just as bad.
Oh, no.
Never again.
Okay.
But the baseball one, it's just such a phenomenal. The user interface is great.
Yep.
The quality's good. You never lose a
No.
Yeah.
And it's great. So I have it on my Xbox One. So like on the weekends, being that the Brewers are typically playing East Coast games, you're talking about a 10 a.m. game.
Sure.
So I'll get up, plug my headphones into my Xbox One control. I'll just sit there with my nice high def headphones on, and I'll watch the thing. And Jess eventually wakes up, and she'll come out, and I'll unplug the headphones. She'll watch with me, and it's great because she doesn't know a ton of I had to teach her what a pitched ball was.
Okay.
Because she's like, we play this a little bit in gym in middle school and high school, but they just said it strikes. They didn't know what a ball was.
They don't go into balls. They don't go into your ERAs. They don't go into any of that kind of stuff.
So I had to By the way, the ball is the worst named thing in any sport because it's he pitched the ball and it was a ball. Well, no, fuck, it was a ball when it left his hand. Why would it be a ball when it? So I had to explain. No, ball means it was outside of the strike zone. Strike zone is this. So I'm teaching her a little bit about baseball, but I've watched I think 8 games now since I subscribed.
Okay.
So definitely get my money's worth on my $25 worth.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely getting your money's worth.
And it's early enough in the season that my team's doing good.
Yes, you guys are doing very well.
It's not All-Star break yet, so we haven't just fucking thrown the season away. But
now you and I had talked about this last season where we knew the Brewers were in a building phase.
Yeah.
The Cubs finished their building phase 2 years ago. They won the World Series last year. They're number 1 in the league this year. Go Cubs.
They're number 1 in the NL right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, is there another division you care about?
Not that I care about, but I do go and I look at all the stats, and I'm amazed at who's actually number 1 in all of baseball right now. Because it's the fucking Orioles.
Yes. Manny Machado, baby. Manny Machado. That man can hit. Actually, he's also a stellar third baseman.
Yeah. You know who's hitting a little bit better than him right now, though?
Is it this Korean fellow?
He's not Korean. He may have played in Korea, but he is 100% American. It is Eric Thames. Number 1 in home runs, in slugging, and in on-base plus slugging. With a 1.14 in on-base plus slugging.
Yeah, but isn't it on-base percentage? He's number 1 too?
I think he might be. Yeah, I was going through all the different stats earlier today. And he's fucking killing it right now.
He's doing a great job.
But to be fair, we are still number 2 in our division.
Yes.
Because number 1 is the Cubs. But only by 2 games.
Now, I have no doubts that the Brewers, right now, if they obviously keep the way they're going, they're making it to the playoffs.
But they're not going to. And here's why. They're going to trade away Braun. They're going to trade away their only real all-star player on the team.
I'm not so sure. Because I would say next year, they're definitely going to be a pennant contender.
I don't know.
I think this is the last year of their building phase.
Because here's what they tend to do. They'll start out seasons really strong. They've done it the last couple years. And then right before the trade deadline, they get rid of anybody they have that's worth money. It happened with CC Sabathia a couple years ago.
Yeah, it did.
Happened with Prince Fielder.
Last year it happened with catcher.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now. But yeah.
Shit, it's going to bother me.
I erased his name from my memory as soon as he took off the old baseball glove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I am super excited, obviously, this year for baseball. Obviously. Basketball. The Golden State Warriors swept the Portland Trailblazers for round 1 of the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to going.
Even without their coach in Game 6.
Not only without their... Oh, no, Kerr, they didn't make it to Game 6.
No, was it 5 that he
They only made it to 4. They swept them. They won their first 4.
Okay,
he
so
missed games 3 and 4.
Okay.
And Kevin Durant missed games 2 and 3.
Well, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to going to some more finals games come June, baby. Yes. I'm going to touch on music real fast. We've been talking a lot. Some new albums are out by the Chainsmokers. I liked it. Kendrick Lamar's new album, did not like it. And Sadistic's new album, really liked it.
So you didn't like Kendrick Lamar, but apparently everybody else is in love with that album. He got his first number 1 song.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, I haven't listened to it yet.
His debut album I really enjoyed. The last one he just did, meh.
Okay.
And then this current one, did not enjoy it.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll get you through some music. Chainsmokers, I like them.
Yeah.
Sadistic, really like it.
Real quick, I've been listening to this Spotify station lately that is just making me laugh. It's a bluegrass pop covers station.
Oh my God, what is this? Is a Spotify playlist?
Yeah, I'll send you the playlist. But I ended up sending my wife a song because it was a bluegrass cover of Gin and Juice.
Yes.
And it's fucking amazing.
Everything about that I want to hear.
But yeah, I'll send you the link to the station because it's got like, I think it's 200 songs on it. It's amazing. So
This is the third ant I've seen on the table.
it's weird.
Right?
My office at work is infested with ants. Like everybody has ants on their desk. It's driving me crazy.
Like, what the hell? All right, moving on.
Okay.
Comic books. What's on your list this week?
Okay, so this is 2 weeks worth of comics because after I had the trip to the doctor last Wednesday, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna buy anything.
Sure,
I'm
fair,
not gonna read
totally
it.
fair.
So for the last 2 weeks, this is what I bought: All-Star Batman number 9, Archie number 19, Batgirl number 10, Batman number 21, Batwoman number 2, The Beauty number 14, Black Monday Murders number 5, Detective number 955. The Flash 21, Green Arrow 21, Green Lanterns 21, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 19, Killer Be Killed number 8, Letter 44 number 32, Nightwing number 19, Supergirl Being Super number 3, Teen Titans number 7, X-Men Blue number 2, X-Men Gold number 2, and I read the first 3 issues of Grimm's Fairy Tales.
What?
On Comic Blitz, who has an Android app.
They do have an Android app now. I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
Really fast, really Black Monday Murders?
Oh, it's amazing.
Interesting. I read the first issue and just
You didn't care for it? Oh,
no,
I love
fell
it.
flat for me.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm a bigger Hickman fan. Than
I
you
would
are,
totally agree with that.
Yeah.
My pulls just for this week are Batman Detective Comics 955, Batman the Shadow
Oh, no,
number
you
1.
didn't. Oh.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Written by Scott Snyder, art by Riley Rosmo. What do I not want about this book? Rosmo is
Shadow?
one of my favorite artists.
Sure.
Scott Snyder's one of my favorite writers.
So if they
Alec
suddenly
Baldwin
took
is one of
over-
my favorite Shadow actors.
Wow, there's a callback to 1994. So if they took over Bitch Planet, you'd be down?
I would. I'd have to. I would have to buy it.
No.
I'd have to do it. If I could get Scott Snyder to write Witches Volume 2 with Riley Rosmo doing the art instead of Jock, I would.
I mean, that's fair, because Jock's art is what turned me off of that series.
Yeah, it's horrible. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps 19. Superman Action Comics 978. The Infamous Iron Man number 7. Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider number 1. Double size one shot Big Moose.
Oh, you got that? Okay.
Britannia, Who We Are About to Die, number 1. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero 239, and The Flash 21.
Okay, what's the book
I also
that you
got.
hid?
Oh, what's that?
What's the book that you hid? You skipped over a book.
Oh, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I got Justice League Unwrapped by Jim Lee,
Okay.
because I love all the
So
Unwrapped.
is this just... I'm not familiar with this. Is this just his art?
So what Unwrapped is, this is the 5th Unwrapped one, is it's just the art. It's just
Okay.
the pencils
Oh, interesting.
of the trades.
Okay.
So I really enjoy them. I think it's a lot of fun to read them this
Oh,
way.
it's interesting that it's the pencils, but with the lettering still.
Yeah. So you can actually read the comic and everything that's going on, just the pencils though. And then obviously previews.
Yeah. Wait, what is that on the cover of previews?
This is they're relaunching Wildstorm, so it's some
So it's
characters.
Gen 13.
So it's some Gen 13 characters, some Authority characters, some Wildcat characters, some Backlash characters.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
When does that happen? July?
This is going to be July 2017. Because they already released Wildstorm number 1.
Right. That's actually really cool.
I loved all the Unwraps. So this is the first one that's not a Batman Unwrapped.
Okay.
They did Hush. They did Court of Owls.
Okay.
They did R.I.P. And then they did another Capullo one I can't recall.
Okay.
No, they didn't. And then they did Dark Knight by David Finch.
Okay.
The book I hid was that I bought 2 copies of the Infamous Iron Man.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine's in the military and I buy
Okay.
one for him and send it to him.
That's respectable. Okay.
Yeah. You thought it was that I needed 2 copies for myself?
I mean, you buy 2 copies of Nightwing for yourself.
Just because the variant covers, and that is the only book I do that on. So, what do you want to talk about this week?
What did I read? Okay, so I'm gonna actually talk about. I knew this before I showed up. Shit. Supergirl being super.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
Are you're not reading this at all?
No, but I think I might want to pick up the trade because I hear it's a fun book.
It is. It changes the Supergirl mythos a little bit, though.
Okay.
Which I'm trying to decide if I'm okay with or not. So in this, it is her as a high school student.
Sure.
Which is kind of what we've presumed or has been alluded to is what her age was when she actually made it out of her pod.
Yeah.
The problem I have with the timeline is that they talk about her being a little girl on Earth. Yeah.
So my question to you is, does this not take place in the main timeline?
No, this is kind of like a standalone.
So I wonder if they're thinking of superhero, like super. If this is aimed to the younger generation who reads DC Supergirls or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Maybe. Because like in this issue, it talks about her saving her grandfather from the barn being on fire, and it shows her as being like 7, 8-ish.
That's too young.
It definitely does not fit with the timeline that we know, because the standard mythos is she was a kind of older teenager when she got put in her pod to be sent to Earth to look after Cal.
The youngest I would take would be tweens. That'd be the youngest I think I'd accept.
Yeah. But they don't really. They make a reference to it here and there. This is issue 3 of 4. They make a reference to it here and there, but it's not like a big part of the story. So in that sense, I'm okay with it. But this is definitely about her being a teenager and learning how to deal with the fact that she's an alien and she has powers and things like that.
Okay.
Which that's one of the things, and I've talked about it on the show before. That's one of the things I've always appreciated about Supergirl is Superman was sent here as a baby. He was raised to understand Earth. Supergirl was raised to understand Krypton, and then in the middle of her
had to come to Earth.
Came to Earth, and it was a huge culture shock to her. So I really love this book. It's like double size. I think this issue is 48 pages. So your 4-issue trade will probably be about the same size as a regular 6-issue trade.
Interesting.
But it's really good. The artwork's really good.
And it's a mini, right?
Yes, I think it's only 4 issues. At the end of this issue 3, it said to be concluded.
There you go.
So it should only be 4 issues. So
okay.
But I definitely recommend it. It's really good. It's really well written, and it's I'll leave it at that.
Speaking of DC superhero girls, I don't care what it's called.
Female superheroes, I don't know, whatever.
So we know Greg Rucka's leaving Wonder Woman at issue 25.
Okay.
Being replaced by the writer of DC Supergirls.
Okay.
And in all of her interviews, she referred to Wonder Woman as Wendy. I'm really excited about the adventures I'm going to take Wendy on. Wendy and I have this really great relationship, and I'm just like, I know it's petty, and I know it's silly, but why are you ruining Wonder Woman from Rucka now to this, bitch?
Yeah. No, she's totally a lesbian too. Oh, me and Wendy, we're BFF for Al.
Yeah. They are going to be IRL buddies.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to talk about Flash 21. Have you read this?
No, I did. I read this today.
So you read Batman 21?
I read Batman 21 and I read Flash 21.
How are you feeling about the button so far? We're halfway through now.
Are we really halfway through?
It's only 4 issues.
I felt way better until I just realized that we're halfway through.
We're only 4 issues.
Shit.
So here's the way I feel about the button. I feel like this is not going to get us any closer to any Watchmen resolution, but it is going to bring in the Justice Society. Because they talked about the Justice Society here.
Yes.
We learned about the helmet from the original Flash in here.
Which we have seen in the regular Flash proper.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I guess this is, but yeah.
So, and at the end, we meet the Flashpoint Batman.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, when Wally came back from... Oh, God, that just... Jax as King Arthur just looks so bad.
You don't like it?
It's just Jax. He doesn't look like King Arthur. He just looks like... But I mean... Sorry, we're looking at an advertisement
there's an advertisement for King Arthur, which I'm excited for that movie.
I'm absolutely going to go see this movie in theaters, of course. The problem I have with the button is it's definitely a lead up to DC's summer...
Oh, absolutely.
Summer book, which will be The Watchmen. And that's when we'll figure out what's going on.
The thing I don't like and I think it was actually in Batman and maybe referenced in this one. I read them both back to back today. The Reverse Flash seeing God.
Yes.
Don't bring Judeo-Christian religion into my comics.
I don't think they are. I think he's talking about Dr. Manhattan.
That's what I'm hoping it's relating to, but there was the line from Batman, from Batman saying "Big G God," and I'm like, where are we going with this?
I 100% believe it's Dr. Manhattan.
I think so too.
Because as we recall, the reason I believe it's Manhattan is twofold. One, on the cover of Rebirth, we had just the blue hand reaching out,
right,
and everyone touching it as like the creation from Michelangelo.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
It was Manhattan,
right?
And he was shown in that book doing a very similar pose.
Okay,
so I think they are very much giving that obvious nod to this is Manhattan.
Okay, I think the thing that disappoints me finding out that this is only 4 issues, because I didn't realize it was only 4 issues. I think I probably knew that at the very beginning, but reading these two, I didn't. It wasn't in my perspective. Is they allude to, we don't know how long Reverse Flash was gone. It was only a few seconds for us, but it could have been days or months or years or whatever.
Absolutely.
And that's never going to be resolved, and that pisses me off.
No, that's going to be an open-ended so they can change the story later when they need to.
Right.
I do think at the end of this, we're going to see one of the Watchmen, and that's going to be the extent of the Watchmen involvement.
Probably, yeah.
I also don't think that Mr. Oz is going to turn out to be Ozymandias.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's 2 on the button. I think it's going to turn out to be like Rorschach or Night Owl or somebody else, but not Ozymandias.
Okay.
With that said, I liked the first issue of Button more than I liked the second one.
Yeah, I liked the Batman issue better than the Flash issue.
I did as well. The Flash one to me, it seemed like too much recap and not enough moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, I get that we did the Cosmic Treadmill and we ended up in the Flashpoint universe, which was cool. I like that. But overall, I felt like not enough happened. It was too much of a retrospect of who the Flash was and what made him the Flash and everything else. I'm just like...
I think one thing that I appreciate about this issue is Flash talking about how when he first joined the Justice League, nobody else would talk about things like evidence with him. But the fact that he formed that relationship with Batman, who is, the world's greatest detective, about evidence and things like that. I'm like, that I can appreciate. That talks to their relationship. But other than that, yeah, you're right. It's just too much of...
And I'll agree with you on that because that's actually, once they said that, I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense. I never actually thought of putting that together.
But then I'm thinking, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, he says they'll sit there and talk for hours about evidence. I'm like, how fucking boring would that conversation be?
Oh my God.
And I think I would have appreciated more if you were like, we would talk for like 20 minutes about evidence, because really, how much longer can you talk about evidence?
Well, so it's the Flash, right?
Yeah.
So a 10-minute discussion feels like hours.
Right. Yeah.
So hours must just be days.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But no, I guess issue 2 of 4, we'll see how it wraps up, but
We'll
I guess
figure it out.
I'm not that excited at this point now.
Oh, I'm sorry to break it for
It's
you.
all
but
right. I mean, it was going to happen eventually.
it is.
Santa Claus isn't real, apparently.
No, Krampus killed him years ago. Years ago.
Krampus.
That's it for me this week.
That's all I've got.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
All right. Next week it is. Bye.
See you.